Hello and hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to more esports news out there. Another OpTic gaming video for all of you guys who have somehow no idea what I'm talking about. Well, get in the loop, go watch another video, then maybe come back for this one. In the back half of the episode, I will touch on for all of you guys. One source as this morning is now pointed out that the bid is now closed for Infinite Entertainment and of course all of the teams underneath that umbrella, including which most of the OpTic gaming teams as well. And with that being said, this one source is going to be a very circumstantial source, but if you guys want to hear more about that, I will talk about in the back half of the episode. They are now claiming that Immortals Gaming Club has solidified their bid for that and thus now retain ownership of Infinite Entertainment and all of those teams underneath their umbrella. So we'll talk about that in the last closing minutes. Before that though, the main purpose of this video before that news came out this morning was to talk about all the contradictions we have seen so far when it comes to this OpTic gaming case, the bid from Hector apparently being laughable or not. We have seen so many sources on opposing sides of this, so let's break it down what we've seen on both sides of that bid and why it took place and how it took place and what people thought about that apparently when it came down to the transaction. And then I'll touch on, of course, for all of you guys, the update from an inside source which does claim OpTic gaming could be done, although Hector continues to fight. And it was actually last week, reportedly to a source as well, it was actually a $20 million debt Infinite Entertainment owed to a bank in the form of a bank note, and in that same article they called Hector's bid a laughable bid. Now of course that was kind of a weird thing to kind of analyze ourselves, just to know that Hector and his partner were putting up a lump sum of money, but to still have someone close to the transaction call it very laughable, it was a weird thing to try and analyze as to exactly how that came to be. And actually within a couple days of that coming out, we actually had Adam Fitch from Esports Insider. He said that that was complete BS. That was complete lies as well. There was no $20 million bank note. We cannot confirm whether or not that was true, and Hector's bid was not laughable. So for me, it's kind of funny, you know, well, who do you trust out there source-wise when it comes to reported articles and sources out there reporting very opposite things? Of course, we had one article I showed you guys that reported a $20 million debt for Infinite Entertainment, which meant whoever bought them out, whether it was Hector and his partner, whether it was Immortals, had to apparently pay that $20 million debt. And alongside that, the same article states that Hector and his partner, that being Cheney, their bid for, of course, Infinite Entertainment was a laughable amount. And then a couple days later, a brand new source comes out and says none of that was true. It just makes you question, you know, who do you actually believe when this kind of thing actually comes to fruition? And was Hector's bid actually laughable or not? Well, it's kind of funny on top of that because it was very believable to think that it could have been a laughable amount compared to Immortals Gaming Club, who brings in so many investors, has such a physical backing as well. Maybe they put forward enough capital where it would have made Hector's bid a laughable amount. So that was very believable, as opposed to people out there who thought it was some sort of vendetta, you know, of course, between OpTic J, who is now the president at Infinite Entertainment. Maybe he had a hand in somehow denying Hector his bid. Either way, it doesn't really matter whether or not his bid was laughable or not, because now a source out there, is apparently inside source close to the transaction, is now saying Immortals Gaming has actually won that bid. But if all of you guys want to keep on being hopeful, you better believe Hector is fighting, because according to the source as well, Hector is now actively pursuing all the remaining teams that Immortals Gaming Club cannot keep. Because if you guys have been following the story quite closely, Immortals Gaming Club, when they do acquire, or apparently they have acquired Infinite Entertainment, they cannot keep two of the same teams inside the same esport, which means several teams are still going to be up for bidding or buying if they do allow Hector to do so underneath the same OpTic gaming name. Now that is very important, especially for you CSGO fans, you Call of Duty fans, you Overwatch League fans, so on and so forth. There are several teams underneath those umbrellas which apparently Immortals Gaming Club cannot keep, and if they let Hector somehow and his investors actually buy those teams out, we could definitely still have OpTic Gaming survive, and that is the biggest part of this. Now amongst those biggest teams, highest value wise, would be the Overwatch League team, that being the Houston Outlaws. Immortals Gaming Club already have the LA Valiant, so they can't keep both of those teams. They could either sell this roster to anyone out there, or of course sell it to Hector along with that spot, but again, that's going to take a lot of investment to do so. And the two you guys probably care about the most, that being Call of Duty as well as CSGO, reportedly to the inside source, I'll show you guys on screen, are also objects of whatever Hector wants among those three teams. So apparently he is trying to pursue Overwatch League, CSGO, and Call of Duty, of course. Other teams though, as of right now, he is unsure about, that including Gears of War. They've already lost the League of Legends spot, the LCS spot, that will certainly be Immortals Gaming Club property, but apparently according to this source, and again, take it as it is guys, it could be very circumstantial, this guy has leaked many roster changes and trades for OpTic Gaming in the past and has gotten them correct, but that does not mean he is correct in terms of this. But I'm trying to give us all hope here in terms of if he is correct here, Hector is still fighting to keep the OpTic Gaming brand alive, and he very much could do so. if Immortals Gaming Club wants to sell him those rights in those teams. And one thing the source also does point out is a possible relocation of staff. I was not necessarily sure which staff he meant though, because in the context he used, it made it seem like whatever staff that Hector tried to approach and actually reacquire, whether it be content creators or so on and so forth, he made it seem like those people would have to relocate to LA, which wouldn't make much sense because Immortals Gaming Club, they have the teams based out of LA, so it might have meant the reverse context. He might have meant that whoever Immortals tried to acquire staff-wise would have to relocate to LA on top of that, and they might not want to, which therefore means they're probably up for grabs if Hector wants to keep some of the staff on as well. I do believe that's what he meant, but I cannot confirm for all of you guys. Either way, what we can possibly confirm is Immortals Gaming Club, as expected, has won their bid. There are still now several teams up on the lines for probably for sale. Will Hector buy them out or be able to? It seems somewhat possible. I'm not going to say likely. I would say possible though, because we have seen Hector promise us both good news, and alongside that, he has had several investors and several high-up people in his latest vlogs, as he usually does. I understand that, guys, but he very well could be getting a team together to try and invest and keep the OpTic Gaming brand alive, which he certainly could be successful at doing. As always, my name is Jake. I hope you guys all enjoy. Certainly curious what you guys think about this down below. What do you think is going to happen? Because clearly right now, a lot of us have no idea, myself included. Am I excited though? Am I hopeful? I certainly am for OpTic Gaming.